Hey everyone, Aaron here from Six String Revival. Today I'm going to show you how to restring a Gibson Les Paul or Les Paul style guitar. It's pretty easy. All you're going to need really is a string winder. You can use a hand one, but I use electric one just because it's faster, and some wire clippers. Let's get started. First things first is I'm going to get these old strings off, so I'm just going to loosen them up at the headstock here. Okay, now that we got those loose, I'm going to take the bridge off here. This just slides out. And I am going to actually kind of snip these and just feed the ball ends back out through the string. Or back out through the bridge. We're going to take these strings and just line them up. And we'll throw those away. Okay, now those are out. I'm going to set this aside actually, because what I'm going to do while I have the strings off is clean the guitar up a little bit. So I'm going to get rid of some of this dust and clean up the fretboard a bit, maybe polish the frets, get it cleaned up a little bit. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to start with just kind of, I'm going to start with actually polishing the frets. So then any gunk that comes off the frets onto the fretboard while I'm polishing them will just get cleaned off later. So I'm just going to take, I just have this 8000 grit, like micro mesh sandpaper kind of stuff. It's like a rubbery sandpaper. Just going to take that and just kind of sand the frets themselves a little bit, and then they get nice and polished. If you really want to get your frets nice and shiny, you can go on through and actually take a Dremel tool with a polishing pad on it and really go for it. But in this case, I don't need to go that extreme. These frets are actually getting pretty worn down anyway, and it's almost time for a maybe not a full refret, but at least a level crown and polish, which is not going to be fun on this guy. This is actually my guitar, and this is a 1996 Gibson Les Paul Classic with the Premium Plus top on it. I have gone ahead and put different electronics and everything in it, and it's been upgraded or hot rodded. But this is one of my favorite guitars, and I play it a lot, and you can sure tell by looking at these frets. They are getting kind of worn down in some spots, but not anything I can't take care of. Just keep going through these. Don't have to apply a lot of pressure, just kind of getting cleaned up a little bit. I don't play a whole lot up here on the neck, so these frets are not as dull as the ones down by the nut. So I can kind of be a little bit lighter with those ones. Okay. So I got those all polished up a little bit. So now I'm going to take, I like to use this stuff. This is the Dunlop fingerboard #1 cleaner and prep. It's basically just rubbing alcohol as far as I can tell. You can also use naphtha. I use that if it's like a bunch of stuff caked on, but in this case I don't really have a lot of oil on my hands, so it's not too bad. Just kind of spray that on there, take a rag and clean it up a bit. Stuff definitely smells like a doctor's office. apologize for the shaky camera during this process. It's looking good already. Now, I'm going to add some fingerboard, the Dunlop number 2 deep conditioner. It's just a mineral oil basically that you just go ahead and put on the fretboard. So I'm just going to wipe that on real quick. You can also use lemon oil. I think Dunlop actually sells a lemon oil thing. Just make sure you don't use like just mineral oils or lemon oils of some sort usually work best. A lot of people will polish the frets too with steel wool. I don't use steel wool because I find that you're gonna get little fibers of the steel wool stuck, magnetized to the pickups, and it just gets everywhere, and it's really hard to clean off. So I find usually using a micro mesh or a buffing wheel, like I had mentioned, to be the easiest. Okay, now that that's on there, I'm going to take the rag again, and I'm not going to like wipe it off. I'm going to kind of rub it in to make sure it gets to every single part of the fret. This thing was kind of dry. It's soaking in pretty quick. Let's go through all of them here. Okay, looking pretty good. Now, I'm going to take the other rag I have here. And this is for the body. This is just regular spray-on guitar polish cleaner, the 65. If you really want to go ham after this, you could do take their wax and rub the wax in and all that. Today I don't feel it's necessary to go that far, so I'm just gonna spray a little bit on my rag here. Just kind of wipe all that dust off. Maybe take this off carefully. Try not to mess with the screws, because I have this thing perfectly set up where I want it. And I like to try to preserve the rust that's forming on the pickups and all that, because this guitar is vintage, and I don't know, I kind of like the aged look, the vintage look. It's looking pretty good. Get the headstock a little bit and some dust that formed up here. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the difference between top wrapping and under wrapping. It doesn't get talked about a whole lot, but I like to top wrap my Les Pauls. Some people don't. It's all kind of a personal preference. Supposedly it makes the strings feel a little bit more slinky and easier to play with. I do it because I like getting a shallower break angle off the back of the bridge, which I'll go more in depth with when we talk about a setup on a different video. So I'm going to top wrap, but all that means is when you put this on, instead of the strings coming through this way and pulling up through this way, I'm going to feed the strings this way through here, and then wrap it over the top of this. Bring it that way. But what I like to do to start that, also I'm going to put Pure Blues DR strings on it, 10 to 46. 46 is a little bit heavier than the bottom, but I tend to go a half step down usually, so it's going to work out perfectly. So like I said, I'm going to actually take this, pull it through here, and then this is the 4th string because they package their strings in kind of odd pairs, but that's okay. Almost have the wrong one. There we go. So notice how this is going backwards of the direction that it should be. That's what I want because I'm top wrapping it. Again, if you're not top wrapping it, you just go the normal way. So you can see here. Ooh. I don't see a lot of people using DR strings. I kind of like them because they're kind of cool. So they are, and I'm not sponsored by them or any means like that, but the way that they work is they actually wind them the way they did back in like the 50s and 60s. So if you want a vintage authentic string, I would go with DR strings. It's kind of cool. It doesn't really feel a whole lot different in my opinion. This is kind of a neat little fact. It's kind of something cool. So now what I like to do, so it goes over the top easier, is I like to kind of kink it. Kind of kink each one of those. And then we'll place that on. And then we are ready to string up. I'm going to cut the camera here and change the camera angle so you can see what I do on the headstock. And we'll go from there. Okay. I have switched the camera to the headstock so you can now see my headstock. And I'm going to show you how to place the strings through the peg holes. Once I figure out this bridge here we go. Let's start with the low E string so you can kind of see it. So you just lay it down across where it needs to go. And then I try to make sure all my holes are lined up pretty straight with the headstock so it's easier to get the string through. Place the thing screw, everybody's favorite sound. And then I like to take there's a couple ways to do this. I like to take my finger, my thumb here, and while keeping decent tension on the string, slide my thumb to the next peg over, maybe a peg and a half even, or a peg and a quarter. And then pinch and pull back. That will give you the perfect amount of length that you need for winding. Some people, another way you can do it, which is probably the easier way that I like to teach people. Hold on, the string keeps falling off down here. Is to use the fret method. So it's the same concept. You keep tension on it, but you pinch it at the nut, and then you pull back 1 fret. It's the same thing. You really want to look for like 1.5 inches, roughly, of length. So I am going to do just that. Going to give myself about 1.5 inches. And then I'll kink it up. Make sure so it stays out of the way for me. And then you want to hold it down. You want to make sure you keep pressure downwards on it as you wind it. Now on a 3-on-3 style guitar like this, these bottom strings here are going to be turned counterclockwise. And just go ahead and do that. And you want to make sure that the wraps are going down, or the winds are going down as you wind it. And you're going to get it snug. There we go. Kink that more so it stays out of the way. And that's 1 string done. So I'll keep the camera rolling, but I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these strung up. When you get to these 3, you just want to turn them towards the headstock because you want all these winds to be facing the inside of the headstock. So yeah, I'm just going to keep going at it, and I'll touch base with you when I'm all done. now that we got the strings on, I'm going to show you how to tune them properly and stretch them out so they stay in tune for you. So I'm just going to take my tuner here. This is a strobe tuner, but you could use any kind of tuner for this. Just clip it on there. And since I'm going to be keeping this a half step down, I'm only going to tune to a half step down. So that's actually right about perfect there. Turn this one up to a note. I don't know if you just saw what I did there, but always, when you're tuning a guitar, doesn't matter if you're putting new strings on it or not, always tune up to the note, never tune down. So, like, let's say the note is sharp, like that. Never just tune down to it. Tune down past flat, and then tune back up to the note. That just helps keep it in tune. That's close here. Okay, now it's in tune, but now we're going to stretch the strings so they stay in tune better. So what I like to do is I like to just take a string and just kind of just pinch it, lift it a little bit down the neck. Don't have to be aggressive with it, just lightly. And what that does is it cinches it up here at the headstock, so it gets rid of any slack that's in the string. And see how it tuned it like crazy. Now I can tune that back up the pitch. And now it should stay in tune for me for a while. Go ahead and do the same for all the strings. You can actually feel them tighten up as you do it. You can feel that, feel them slip a little bit and stretch. On the light strings, be very careful because they could break. I'm going to go through and tune them all again. Alright, now they're all in tune. I'm going to take my tuner off here. And we're going to go ahead and clip the strings. There's a kind of a rumor or a myth that says you have to leave like ½ inch of string. You don't. Just kind of as close as you can. And she's all done. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you are in the Spokane area and you are looking to get some tech work done, feel free to contact with me. All my links are in the description below. I will see you guys next time. Hope you subscribe and like for more. Have a good one. Bye.